We're making more R&R content. Come check us out on Instagram. Where are the other places?
I'm a boomer. I don't know the social medias, so you've had to teach me how TikTok works.
TikTok. We're on the TikTok.
I, however, did start up a Threads account because I'm still hip. I'm a boomer, but I'm hip. And Threads works like Twitter, so I know how it works. Because millennial. Hi.
But yes, we're on there. Check it out. Feel free to comment and get in touch and give us any ideas what we can do for episodes. And just chill out, hang out, find more of us. And
tell Pine how cool she is. Because I tell her all the time and she doesn't listen.
I'm just a realist.
A real pain in the ass.
I was wondering where that was going.
Let's start the episode. Hi.
Bye. Wait, no, stop saying bye. Come. Enjoy the episode with us.
Oh yes, that's how you start a podcast. Come. I've got Billie Eilish's Bad Guy in my head.
Okay, that's very random. Are you feeling evil? Okay.
I just want to do a little dance there. That's my brain right now.
I'm the bad guy.
Duh.
Yeah. Anyway.
Long pause for awkwardness.
Okay, we really need to get started now.
What? I thought we were started. This is me started.
Okay, so are we in DM discussions now?
We're not in DM discussions yet. Don't be silly. We haven't made the noise.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's what I meant. We've got to get started on the actual content, not the bullshit.
Oh, well, I need to give the viewers a pre-warning. I've had a very busy day, so this episode is going to be entirely ad-libbed from me. I'm in a weird mood. Hi. Okay, we can make the noise now.
Hang on, just another heads up. I will probably get slightly more crazy as the episode goes on because I am drinking. So, yeah.
Wowee, alcoholic. I mean, what?
Let's go.
Also, we also can't go into deep discussions. We don't know what vehicle we're on.
Damn it! We're doing 5 stars. 5 stars.
All aboard the TikTok train. Woo, we're Zoomers now. Okay, now we're in DM discussions. Tell everyone what we're talking about.
This week, we're talking about everything NPC-y.
And if you'd followed us on Threads and Instagram, you would have seen a little teaser for that. Did you guess it? Did you see it? No, because you're not followed yet. Go follow. And then you can guess the next one.
Yay.
And you get a prize of us liking the comment and going, yeah, you did it. But yes, NPCs. The DM's characters.
Oh, crucial to the story.
Yes. Very.
And
so crucial we know everything we want to talk about them.
I think first of all, got to talk about what role they play in the games, which, is basically everything other than main character.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, you got your classic stuff, really. I mean, I always take inspiration from video games with this. I'm sure you do as well.
Yep.
You got your classic guide character who sort of shows up every now and then, be like, yeah, yes, you should do this, you should do that. You've got the more focused sort of quest giver who'll be like, well, I got a problem over here. Can you help out? You've got obviously your antagonists and BBGs and minions and all that sort of stuff who were there to form the conflict in the first place. And I've run out of things to say. Told you it was going to be a weird one for me. Did I cover everything? Should we actually go into detail now? Let's go into detail.
Yeah.
Oh, companions. I forgot about party allies and companions. Those are fun. I like those.
Oh, the joys.
The end of this episode, Pine's like, what the fuck was that sounds? Carry on.
I feel like because you were busy doing stuff on a time schedule before we started this episode, I feel like you're very rushy at the moment. I need to just take a breath, calm down. We're just doing a chill episode. It's fun.
Inner peace.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I mean, it doesn't help that we tried to record this yesterday and the day before, and things just got in the way. Not only has it been rushed today, it's been rushed to today, and I'm just like,
Yeah, it's been rushed to today. We're starting not long before we're supposed to be playing D&D.
Yep, and I'm running it, so I've had to prep that as well at lunchtime and my lunch break. Didn't get a lunch break today. Fun times. I ate lunch, but I didn't actually get a break.
Yeah, so do bear with us if this is a bit of a crazy one.
Mainly me. Pine's fine. It's just me.
I've been busy today too.
Tell Pine how cool she is. Yeah, but you're not in a weird mood. You're normal. Well, normal for you. You're normal today.
Normal for me. Wow. Mind you, I don't want to be normal. Normal's boring.
This is like as if I've taken a fistful of Adderall or something. Is that how that works? I don't know how drugs work. Anyway, NPCs. Don't you just love them? But also hate them and want to murder them and be friends with them and play games with them.
Yep.
Let's go.
Yeah. Most people call them NPCs. Some people call them, what's it called? Cannon fodder for murder hobos.
Who the hell are you hanging out with? I don't know any murder hobos.
You have had the joys of not experiencing playing with those, but they do exist.
Cool. That's all I have to say. Cool. They exist.
First of all, see, this first one we've got guides. I don't feel like either of us particularly have a guide character in place yet.
Well, I'm trying not to do it in your face. But they're there.
They're there.
They're there, and you've interacted with them a lot. Do you want me to tell you, or do you want to keep yourself in suspense? You block your ears, and I'll tell the listeners.
Hang on, I'll take my headphones off. Ready? Okay, they're off.
It's the gods. The gods are like, hey, have some dreams. Okay, how do I tell her to put her headphones back on? Fine, come back.
I'm here.
Okay, cool. I literally was like, how do I get her back? What do I do?
I heard you yell Pine.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
those are my guide or guides.
I have had a few like guide-ish characters who've got side quests and who are quite powerful in the world. That I've kind of had scattered about, and it would depend how much you guys interacted with to how much they like were able to guide you with. But you guys are very much on your own mission.
I have not had any idea what was going on the entire time. I only missed like 2 sessions of your campaign at the beginning before players swapped around, and I feel like I've just been winging it the whole time. Like I still don't know who Brumdus is really, or what he had to do with anything, and how that ties in with the egg, and what, you know, I mean, I guess I know a bit more about what Eclipse want and stuff, but still, I'm just like, why am I here? I just let the other guys decide what we're doing. I mean, I chip in with, you know, I wouldn't mind going to the Whispering Isles.
I've just thought the very first session, like the little bit of intro that I did in session 0, I feel like that hasn't been brought up at all for you.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know what started everything. I'm just here tagging along for the ride because these people are interesting and Erathor likes interesting people. And also has like sworn allegiance to Throthan for the time being, but you know. Side note and everything.
I don't think you're really missing out on that much.
Cool. Okay, so we're all just winging it. Brilliant.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now I feel really confident.
Which is why I'm so shocked that you guys just don't really interact that much with my NPCs.
I feel like we do. Don't we? went to the coronation. We spoke to as many people as we had time to speak to them before things went near the fan.
I don't know whether I've said this on the podcast before, but there was an NPC there for that was kind of like designed, or well, not designed around, but like sort of linked to each PC. And only 2 of you interacted with them.
Well, surely one of them is Danny.
Yes. Danny interacted. Well, obviously he wanted to talk to the Queen, which is the main reason you were there. But there was the King of... I can't remember my own law now. It's
because you gave all of them different titles and different government types, so they all have different bloody things in front of their name. That's why I can't remember them. Is he a king or is he the leader of an empire?
I know that he was the king. And he's like, I can remember the capital city is called Honest, but for some reason the name of the like country county.
Is that the one that begins with a U?
Yes.
I remember it begins with a U and it's got like 4 letters. I don't know why I can't remember those 3 letters, but you know.
Yeah.
But yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. He interacted with him. Leaky interacted with theirs. But then Forrest had like RP'd Drow not being interested really at all. So he didn't interact with anyone.
Too busy eating all the shrimp.
Gimlin was very tame.
Gimlin was chaotic. Wait, what?
Gimlin was very tame. Like
he invented lore about like people having their toes sticking out or something. I can't remember, as long as it were toes.
I know, but he was like RPing and talking to people, but he didn't really investigate or like go around anything that would have led him to certain things. I don't want to give too much away, clearly.
Obviously.
But yeah, and there was a couple of people there, but
we need to learn how to ask the right questions to the right people.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because NPCs are great having them there because they can give you information, they can give you quests, they can like provide interests for people, but it's finding ways, if you've got an important NPC, of getting the players to interact with them. And like for me, trying not to force them down your throat again, but like getting that balance can be quite hard.
I don't bother. I just force it down people's throat. What's this? Mysterious person creeps up behind you. They're investigating the same thing. I wonder if they know anything. Here, have literally the person in charge of the guard force in both the towns you've been to so far.
Oh, it's yeah. I think you do quite a good job of introducing things to the important NPCs, but because at the very start everyone requested a sandbox, I'm trying to leave it more to the players to see what they interact with.
There's a part of me, I love you to bits and I think you're a great DM, but there's a part of me who thinks you heard sandbox and your brain thought beach. Entire coastline. I must build the entire history of everything.
I'll be able to give you like more details on this about how I DM in certain aspects when we finish the campaign, because I think it will be really interesting. Or when we get closer to the end, because I don't want to give too much away about things.
Google, set a reminder for 10 years.
It won't take that long.
I'm only messing. I mean, I think just for what we've covered there, we've basically gone through guides and quest givers because they're kind of related. Yeah. It's just obviously a different scope. Guides tend to stick around between quests and stuff.
Yeah.
But my favourite of the other 2 that I mentioned, I love me some companions because I want to roleplay. I don't care too much to give them builds for combat. I mean, I have given like the NPCs that are on your team some builds, but I don't really focus on them much. I'm just like, oh, spellcaster, have some spells. Oh, have a crossbow. Be in love with the crossbow. But more importantly, I love RP with the players and giving them reasons to interact with the world, and then sort of hiding in the shadows and letting them just talk to each other.
Yeah.
And your companion NPCs are good ways to open up topics and also give other hints, especially since obviously the companions, because they're played by the DM, they know the lore basically, or you can let them know whatever you want them to know about the lore, and they can be like, oh, well, actually, the god of starlight, blah, blah, blah. That was me impersonating me doing Valor, even though I've never given Valor a voice before, so that's weird. But yeah, they're your way of interacting with the story the most in ways that aren't just plot. It's, everything.
Yeah.
Words.
Now, what's going to be fun for me is you guys have adopted your first NPC who can talk. Yay!
Yay! Wanted to, but I only got one, but oh well.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be fun. Especially since as soon as we leave the door, she was like, are they going to be dangerous? No, it's fine. Plus, we'll protect you. Literally 5 minutes after leaving the city, bloody boat gets attacked.
It was a few hours.
Well, in the long scale terms of things, that's basically 5 minutes.
But with you talking about NPCs having them go with you and stuff, and you said before, I think it is important, not necessarily to plan these kind of NPCs I'm about to mention, but when you find an NPC that a player gets attached to or particularly interested in, is to sort of...
Kill them.
No. To double down on that character. Well, not, again, not trying to force people to interact with them, but give them more maybe importance in the story or
screen time,
more interactions. And really it helps give the players more investment, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, Philo was always going to be important, so the fact that you and Forrest both interacted with her heavily made me very happy. Because, that was predetermined, so I couldn't do the double down thing, but obviously we'll be doing that from now on. Because she is gone! Wahaha!
Evil DM.
Evil DM who planned it all along. I didn't even plan it because I stole it from Mark. But yeah, I think, companions are so fun to play. Obviously, you don't want to make it a one-man theatre production.
Yeah.
But it's a way to interact with the players, and it's my favourite way. Personally.
Yeah, it's good.
I'd ask you about antagonists, but we haven't seen yours yet.
Did you want to talk about antagonists?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I spent 20 episodes building up to one, and you spent, I keep saying all of episodes, I don't know why. It's because when you watch and listen to D&D, it's typically 3 episodes. 20 sessions building up to one. And you've spent 35 sessions building up to something. So, these are the usually the pinnacles of the conflict and the story. So, yeah. Just fun to flesh them out, give them motives, give them fun ways to appear evil.
Yeah.
Make them complex and not actually fully evil, maybe. We've talked about villains before.
Yeah.
And they're another really fun way to actually tell your story. So, gotta love them. Yeah. Even if you hate them. As players, question mark. Anything else to add?
Yeah. I feel like my antagonist, you guys haven't interacted with them directly yet. There's been hints and stuff about what's happening around, but the person is a mystery to you guys. Mm-hmm. However, I am actually quite attached to those characters.
Nice.
Because obviously I have had to flesh them out. I've given them the motives. I know it's probably the NPCs I've spent the most time on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I do like me a villain.
Conversely, one of my villains, obviously not the main one, I'll just name him because it's fine, Zakira, the right-hand man, woman of brain, work, the right-hand woman of Starbane, who obviously you met 2 sessions ago. I knew she was going to be evil and she was going to be involved. But right-hand woman of Starbane was all I had for her, but I just kept leaving basically making up random evil things about her and leaving them in. and like I wouldn't know about them beforehand. It's nice to sort of just. It's like up to the point where she was in Smite's dream, and you actually saw some of the things she could do. She was just like a name to you guys who was terrifying, or she was supposed to be terrifying. I don't know if I got that across. And that was all she was to me as well. Like I didn't actually develop it anymore. It was just fun to be like, ha, evil. Have some evil. This is evil. You'll see the evil later. I don't know what it is, but have some evil.
Love it.
But also, yes, I did the same with Starbane about what you just described as, being close to them in a weird way.
Another one I want to bring up is NPCs you get from backstories.
Oh, yeah.
I've had bits mentioned about some of your background NPCs, but I haven't introduced any to this story yet. And I think I'm going to be quite nervous about that, because when you're creating your own NPCs, obviously you know what they're like, you've got an idea of them in your head, the players don't really know, they're just like meeting them, but I'm a bit worried about trying to portray an NPC that one of my players has created, because I want to do them justice and convey them as they imagine them to be. I feel like that could be quite difficult, or...
Well, I think that's something that should be set as an expectation when you get the backstory. It should be like, well, when you're saying, give me some backstory stuff, I think players and DMs should discuss. And if you're like in your situation, you think, I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Then the player should understand that, and when writing their backstory, actually leave an NPC vague, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I can.
So, for the example, I mean, you did it basically without me even asking you to, because you gave me like your old group.
Yeah.
What are they called? The Hellfire's
Shadow.
I always want to call them the Hellfire's Angels.
They're not angels.
I know. That's why it's funny. You gave me the Hellfire's Shadows, and obviously you've already briefly met Stray and been with Faith for a while. Mm. But you literally just said, here's a vague combat style and a vague personality trait for each of them. Yeah. And that meant that, hopefully I couldn't really go too far wrong and disappoint you with those. It made it easier for me, at least. Your silence speaks volumes. Did you hate them?
No, I loved Faith. Faith was great. I feel like you did a great job on her, basically as I imagined, if not better. And then, but for Stray, I feel like he wasn't as I imagined him in the backstory, but I feel like that makes sense because of what he's obviously been through some shit.
I zip my lips. I mean, you've literally been in the same room for him for about 20 seconds, and that's it. So
exactly.
Well, it was more than 20 seconds. I forget. There was a bit where it kind of left initiative and was a discussion. A couple of minutes. Yeah. We'll find out more about him next time. And by next time, I mean next time you see him, not next episode.
Darn.
But yeah, I'm glad you liked Faith. But yeah, I think, case in point, you gave me a not vague, but, open-ended NPC. I run with what you gave me and fleshed out the rest, and it worked. So I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So really, that's on the players to not, design NPCs in their backstory the same way they design their player character. Yeah. Otherwise, they might get disappointed when the DM has to run with it.
Yeah, definitely. Here's a question for you.
Shoot.
How much do you prep your NPCs?
Entirely depends.
Yeah, I agree, but tell me more.
I have a number of throwaway NPCs that are literally just names because I don't want another Yondu moment. I have NPCs that are mysterious, and to keep the mystery up, I make them mysterious for myself as well. Main NPCs are obviously the most fleshed out ones. They get something resembling a backstory. They get stat blocks. They get other stuff. They get planned story and planned interactions. That's pretty much it, really.
Okay.
And I guess the last category is NPCs that you could be interested in as players or just leave behind. An example of that we raised on the podcast before was Sana, the bunny, Beastwalker. She was one that could have evolved. I fleshed her out enough that you might be interested in talking to her, and I'd have answers to questions, so to speak, and a stat block if fights happened. But it didn't roll that way, so into the annals of history she goes.
I'm a little bit saddened by that. Amnesty didn't particularly get to interact with them, but
I never said forever.
Yeah, I know. But
I mean, she's not going to be in Mirska anytime soon. She doesn't live there.
No, it's a fun one.
Yeah. What about you?
Again, it depends. I have a lot of set NPCs. Like, I'll have some guards that, again, just have, like, a name, but I'll also give, like, a vague description of, like, race, hair colour, that kind of thing. Just very, very, very basic. And then shopkeep's background NPCs, and that kind of stuff. I have... you usually have like a vague image in my head, so I'll note down like name, race, height, hair details like colour, what it looks like, a vague idea of what they're wearing, if they've got any specific facial features or tattoos. And then the other thing that I've started doing recently is I'll just give a very basic, like possibly 3-word bit on what kind of voice they have as well.
Oh, I tried that and it failed miserably last session. Because I was like, I've played Skyrim for 400 hours. I can do a generic Nord from Skyrim. Yeah. And I can't. And it turned into Irish. So now everyone from my Nordic-inspired region, although it's in a jungle rainforest, that doesn't make sense, but all the names are Nordic and inspired. They all speak Irish now. Not Irish. They speak in Irish accents. And I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, that's fair.
So yeah, I tried that and failed.
This is very fair. And then main NPCs, I will give a bit of backstory. I'll do all the same, give a bit of backstory, list potential goals, and also put a few connections into the world, into other NPCs in there as well. Just to make them feel a little bit more grounded and integrated.
I'll tell you what I've noticed from DMing after hearing what you've just listed. I don't know how much this affects me as a story consumer, but as a storyteller, for the most part, my idea of things is very non-visual.
Okay. So
if I don't have an image for a character that I found online or generated or whatever, then I don't care. I just have generic blank face in my head and they're the character. They can be as fleshed out as ever in terms of personality and backstory, but they don't have a face to me and I don't really care and I don't know why. That's weird.
I must admit, if you remember right at the beginning of my games, I used to give out a lot of character art for NPCs. But that took a lot of time for me to try and find something that vaguely resembled what I wanted. And I did kind of feel a bit strange using other people's characters that they've drawn and made and like putting them into my story. So I've taken more of a verbal approach with the descriptions. That's why I tend to describe more. But there's a part of me that worries as well that my descriptions of places as well as the NPCs that people don't find interesting. Like if I'll have like a very detailed idea of what this guy's coat looks like and like the kind of top he wears and the trousers. I'm like, I don't feel like anyone's interested in knowing, I don't know, as an exaggeration, how many buckles this guy has on his coat.
Well, I'll give you two answers to that. The first is refer to whichever episode of the podcast where we talked about the library incident. And the second is, if you're really worried about it, then don't give the detail bits until anyone asks for them or until they're relevant.
Well, I will. I'll give basic details now. I have more written down than I will give to players, just in case they do inquire more. Fair.
Yeah. I had another point that related to something earlier said, but I've already forgotten about it, so we can move on if you like. Yay, brain!
Yay, brain! Oh, actually, that's the point. You mentioned stats as well. I very rarely stat out NPCs.
I only do it if I know for a fact that you're going to get into a combat with them. And if you get into a combat with an NPC that doesn't have a stat block, they ain't fighting. They're running away.
I've actually had NPCs that I don't put stat blocks on for, but in my head I'm like, this person's adventured before. They're probably around about like this level kind of person, so they wouldn't go down straight away like other NPCs and stuff. But I still haven't written a stat block for.
Fair.
But yeah.
I mean, good example is the one you just met, Scaldy and Scorb, who were literally written that within half an hour of you meeting them, you're going to fight something, whichever way you went from where you landed.
That's fair.
So
nice.
They get a stat block.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Oh, I remember what I was going to say now. It's to do with the character art thing.
Okay.
Obviously, the bit where if you feel strange because it's other people's art and it's not necessarily your design, it might not fit in with what you want. That's fine. If you don't have that though, and you are comfortable with using other people's art, but don't want to spend loads of time looking for something that fits what you've described, then do it backwards. Find something that looks cool and then make your character based on the image.
Yeah, that's always a good way to do it.
That is my top tip because I do that all the time. And if I can't do that, then I use AI because I'm evil. Wahaha. I mean, I will actually just bring that up quickly because AI obviously is threatening a lot of industries right now.
Yep.
I will defend myself slightly in that I was never going to pay the artist in the first place, so I'm not taking any money from anyone, and I'm only using the free ones that don't advertise. So no money is going to anyone from me. But if you want to brand me the devil, then feel free. I'll take it. Moving on.
The next thing we've got written down here is having NPCs in the party.
Yeah, I actually was intrigued to discover that this isn't necessarily something that people expect.
No.
And I didn't care. I just went with it anyway.
Yeah, it's a point of contention, I think, that sometimes when DMs have an NPC in the party, that they sometimes play them on level with the party, in a sense that they're having a PC like playing the game like all the rest of people around the table while also DMing, and that can cause a lot of issues. So I think having NPCs in the party could be tricky business, depending on how it went.
I mean, insert meme here. He's talking about Erois again. I take cue from the almighty Mark Humes because in his sessions he always puts NPCs on your side. Not always, but quite a lot.
Right.
And the way he does it, though, is if they are as powerful as the player characters, then it's a case of, well, the player characters are the champions of Erois. They're going to instruct the NPC what to do.
Okay.
So it's a case of, here's this NPC's abilities. If you need them to help you, call out on your turn or any time. And when it gets to them in the initiative, they'll do that. If not, they'll just do a basic attack. And I like it rolling like that. And the only time I deferred from that was one time when I had Valor use a reasonably powerful spell for your level. It would have been like the highest level spell one of you would have had if you were spellcasters.
Yeah.
Full spellcasters. I didn't do that much. It was the Tasha's Mind Whip or something on the Aboleth.
Yeah.
And maybe influence some saving throws later down the line. But yeah, obviously it's not meant, as I said earlier, it's not meant to be a one-man or one-person theatre production.
Yeah.
So don't take the spotlight away from your players, obviously.
Yeah.
Valor was just there because you were traveling with her, and if she vanished every time you had a fight, then it wouldn't make any sense to me. So she was in there throwing her little firebolts and doing her little stabby stabs. And Arvel never lands false with Evangeline, so I can't miss him in the fights.
Oh, great moments.
See, great moments. Therefore, if I hadn't done them, they wouldn't have had those great moments. But they didn't steal the spotlight, did they? They were just good, fun moments.
Yeah.
This is my defense.
I listen to another podcast where they did this kind of thing for a short time, but very differently. And I don't know whether, I don't think I do bring it up very often in the podcast, but I love this podcast with a passion so much, and it is the Glass Cannon podcast.
I have heard you speak of this.
Yes, Troy Lavallee is just an amazing GM and tells stories in an incredible way. Just I love him.
Yeah, it's not just me fanboying about other DMs now.
Yeah. They obviously play Pathfinder in their first and like their main one that they did. But they had a character traveling with them for a short time who was a dwarf and fought alongside them. But how they did it was Troy gave over their character sheet to the party, and every session they would pass the sheet round and give someone else like a turn controlling them, which I think is really good. They didn't RP them, so the DM still did the RP for them, but in battle it didn't take away from the players because the players were the ones who were still controlling him. I think that's a good way to do it.
It's another, I agree. Mark did that one as well, although he only did it once, and it was right near the end, but it was good.
Yeah.
Did I bring up last time that the original Roas is finished now, and it made me really sad? Or is that not? We have not done an episode since then, have we?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because you were on holiday. Original Roas has ended, and I'm really sad. Moving on. I cried like 3 times in the finale, and had to donate a big soppy message to them saying how amazing it was. Because that's the kind of person I am. Moving on. I'm doing a lot of moving on today because I keep going on tangents. Someone stop the tangents.
I was just going to say that in my game where I play Ember, I also control in battle a Warforged called Ash, who is very protective of Ember. And that's how we do it. And that is the DM RPs him and I control him because I essentially recruited him. So,
fair.
Anyway.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's cool. I like that. So I go on tangents, and then I hit a brick wall when I try and go back on path. Brain, help! Be helpful for once. Staying on topic of NPCs in the party, you've asked this question, so I'm going to ask it to you because you're the one who's going to answer it because you asked it. What do you do if they die?
It's an interesting one because I haven't had I've had players die. I've had a player die once, and it was the first time I ever DM'd, and I didn't know what to do in that situation. It was very much brushed over, and they just made a new character, and it was just basically it didn't feel like it mattered. But again, in Glass Cannon, they do such a good job of how they deal with death of PCs and NPCs. It's beautifully done. I recommend listening. So from that, I feel like if a player does die in my games, then I've got ways that I intend to make it a bigger moment than just, you're dead. Go make a new character. But I feel for an NPC, it might be more on the players to see how they react to that. Because you can give them final words, which is one of the reasons why I don't have your PCs go unconscious when they're making death saves. They're up but incapacitated, so that if they are going to die, they get like those last few moments to communicate something. So I'm potentially giving the NPCs a last word or a last request. And
Loki may be stealing that, by the way.
That's fine. Seeing how the players handle it, and potentially having other NPCs in the world that end up like questioning what happens and going to the party and be like, "Where's my husband? What's happened?" kind of thing.
I like it. My brain. What is wrong with my brain today? I think we kind of covered this with what you mentioned about people having the character sheet, or, as I said, people instructing them what to do. But have you got any other thoughts towards game pace when it comes to combat with NPCs? Because this is something that I think both of us have struggled with, we've learned from. Because for me, it was it was the climax, I say. It wasn't massively a climax of the first town. Right. And I basically had an altercation between you guys and the guards, because they were on your side, and this seedy bunch of criminals. And for some reason I was like, oh, this would be a big turnout. Loads of people would show up. And I gave the criminals a bunch of thugs and the guards a bunch of, like, not thugs, but the equivalent. And then the fight, I had like 20 NPCs to control, and obviously it ground to a halt. And I was like, yeah, this one does a sword attack, this one does the same thing, this one dodges, this one shoots. And it kind of, I don't think that combat was necessarily fun for everyone. What do you think?
I think it was a fun combat. When I run combats, I know some people roll individually for all the creatures that are there, but I think we both roll for groups rather than individuals.
If they have the same image on their token, they have the same initiative in my rules.
Yes. But one of the things I've sort of started doing is, while you guys are still taking your turns, or just after I finished, okay, hang on. While you guys, I'll plan what the NPCs are going to do, but also I might move and, what's the word I'm looking for? Resolve some things for a turn coming up for an NPC before the actual turn. Just so that when it gets to the turn, I can just quickly go, yep, that happened. This is what they're doing. Like, if they're off screen and you can't see them and I know no one's going to, like, get there to intervene, I'll just do it quickly while other people are thinking about their turns. Or if I'm in the middle of their turn and you can only see one or two of them, I'll do the one or two that you can see and then move on, but while the next person's trying to take their turn, I'll resolve the other things that you can't see, to try and keep the pace up a bit. But it is difficult, especially if you've got a lot of creatures there.
I think another thing to consider as well goes back to what we talked about stat blocks and like power levels. It's a lot easier to decide what an NPC does if they can only do one or two things.
Yeah.
And if you've given them an entire, obviously this doesn't count for big encounters with big bosses or anything, because that's the whole point of those things. They have cool abilities and ways of doing things differently.
Yeah.
But thugs, as I called them earlier, like there's no point in giving them 3,000 abilities when all they're really going to do is attack you with a sword and block you with a shield.
Yeah.
Because it's just easier to decide that, even if it necessarily isn't fun to describe. This guy attacks, this guy attacks, this guy attacks.
Yeah.
It certainly keeps the pace, at least.
I was going to mention something else. I've forgotten. Oh, yeah. One of the things that you can do as well, if you do have a complicated battle coming up or a complicated sheet that you know is going to be, you're going to have to play through. I'm not the best at doing it because I've got bad memory, but I recommend, if you can, trying to memorize stat sheets. Well, not necessarily all of the stat sheets, but learn, like, this guy can do, like, these kind of things. So when it comes to the session, you've already got a basic idea of how it's going to go. And on your turns, you know, like, what the character would potentially do.
Yeah. Makes a sense. And the final breed of NPC, so to speak, we come to is everyone's favourite realistically. If you don't like this, then you don't have a heart. Pet! You're only eyeing because for some reason you made it possible for all of us to have one.
I don't understand how this happened.
What do you mean you don't understand how it happened? You had a pet shop. What did you expect?
Not for everyone to buy a pet.
And you put cool and cute animals in it. And magical ones. And we were like, wowee, I want one.
Yeah, so you guys basically have a menagerie on your ship. You've got 2 pseudo-dragons, which they used
Previously
to be 3.
rip in peace.
Yeah. You've got a cat.
Luna, my precious.
Erathor, played by Leaky, has a hellhound puppy, yes. And now our paladin, Sorothan, played by Danny, has... I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like Summon Mount or something?
It's a warg, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's summoned a warg, and it's just there, chilling on the ship most of the time.
And you haven't even finished everything. I think you're also forgetting that Gimlin technically has his Al Familiar, although we haven't seen it for like 5 sessions for some reason.
Yeah, it's another one of those things where he mentioned it once, and then it's just never come up.
And also the little shadow friend we got from the underground, who is basically a pet in my eyes. Of sorts.
That, again, everyone forgot about and hardly interacts with, but...
Only because we spent so long away from the ship as soon as we came out of the caverns, in my opinion.
The fun thing about this is, though, now you've got an NPC on the ship who can talk. Like, she's obviously going to have interactions with all these creatures, and I feel like that's going to be fun.
That is going to be fun. What the fuck is that? Oh, it's just our friendly, intelligent shadow friend. He does little dances and stuff. He does in my mind. I don't think you ever said that, but he does in my mind. Oh yeah, pets are fun. Especially, I don't know, I just think they're fun.
Yeah.
I mean, you've only really got one in my campaign. That's because it's one of your class features.
Yeah.
Maybe I should fix that. Actually, I did make a pet shop in the last city and no one went to it, so your problem.
Yeah, I think at that point, though, I either had or knew that I was... I had the little Dragonette, and I was not really going to buy another one.
Yeah, but none of the other players did either, and I was like, fine, screw you guys. Don't have fun.
If it hadn't have been a class feature, I probably would have been more interested. But
Nope, it's fine. Don't have fun. Your problem. Not mine.
Amnesty and her army of animals.
I mean, you told me before that in most RPGs you end up with an army of wolves, so...
Yeah. Where you can, I will.
What? Who says you can't in Erois?
Interesting.
Anyway, I'm all brained out already, so I think we should end DM discussions before I go insane.
No, that's fair. Damn, that was only a 9 on my stealth check. Guess you can hear me then. Well, since I've already grabbed your attention, I'd like to take this time just to say thank you very much for listening to our podcast. Me and Sounds are trying to make it something that you will really enjoy, and as you heard earlier, we finally got our act together and we're now posting on social media. So please do come find us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and YouTube for extra content from the 2 of us. We would also love to hear from you, so by all means, please get in contact with us on any of those. If you could also just do us a massive favour, it shouldn't take up too much of your time, but it would really mean the world to us. Whatever app you're listening on, could you just give us a cheeky like, a follow, subscribe, 5 stars, whatever's relevant on your app. Genuinely really helps boost the podcast. It'll help other amazing people like you find our podcast. It's a tough world out there, so every little helps. Oh yeah, and if you could tell your friends, family, pets, whoever will listen about our nerdy podcast, We will owe you big time. Now, I'll let you be on your way. And don't tell the cards you saw me, okay? Bye! Here we are, we've arrived from the TikTok train.
Yeah, it's favourite moments.
Woohoo!
I have written down one, but I actually have two, because I've just remembered how long it's been since we recorded.
Okay.
So I go first?
Yes,
I'll go
please.
first with one, then you. Then, well, we'll have a favourite moment sandwich.
Okay.
Favourite moment... Rewind. Favourite moment... Fuck. Help. Help. I need help. Favourite moment number one. Never not be having fun. I've already mentioned it. Original High Rollers Heroes is finished.
Yeah.
And I cry. It was so good.
Aww.
It did everything it needed to without feeling like fan service. It was all wrapped up. It was all fun and happy and amazing. Well, not all of it was happy, because obviously there had to be some sad stuff. Otherwise I would have cried. It was so good. I was like, hilariously as well, it was the first live episode I've ever watched. So like 5 years and 190 sessions they did, and I was like, I can't turn up to these. Half the time is because I was playing. Well, not half the time, but obviously the last year and a bit, 2 years nearly, it's been because I've been playing. But then I turn up just for the finale, try my little dono, cry 3 times, have like a mini existential crisis for the next few hours after it finished, because like, what am I going to do when I want to watch D&D now? And all 6 of them, and also everyone behind the production and cameras and lighting and music and stuff, just fucking nailed it. So
Nice.
10 out of 10 for them.
Aw.
Your turn.
I'm assuming my point, I can't remember who wrote whose, but I'm assuming my point here is Erois Act 1 finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Epic moment.
both of the ones we've written down, I could equally say are both my favourites.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just a shared favourite moments today, apart from that
pretty
first
much.
bit.
Yeah. But yeah, so we've obviously been building up. Well, you've been building up to this moment for a while. We get a job to investigate some shady happenings that are going on in the big church thing nearby. We go, we investigate, we find out that there's a secret thing underground, so we go and check out that, and then turns out there's lots of cultists down there, and there's a big fight, and I find my old friend / leader, Stray, who seems to have turned against us and with these people, which was a devastating moment.
And is literally fighting you and his once, or still probably, lover. Who knows?
Yeah. And then a woman walks out with a few other people by her side, and it's like, you better surrender, otherwise you're gonna die. So come on, put your hands up. Kind of have a moment of tension. Amnesty like fucking legs it up to start swinging, because she's like, I ain't like becoming a prisoner. No way. I'd rather die. So,
Inazuma follows suit.
yeah. We both get a fireball laid on us, which Amnesty...
Well, no, I actually want to describe how this happened, because I was quite proud of this moment. She was always going to fireball people, but it's the fact that she has you and Inazuma on either side of her. I think Inazuma's trying to grapple her, and she's basically already cast this fireball, but she's just holding it, kind of like a readied action spell. And so when she gets tackled, the fireball just drops and explodes at her feet. But she's immune to fire damage, which you guys don't know, because of her otherworldly sort of patron kind of thing. She's not a warlock or anything, but she basically has been gifted these powers. And so you get like a point blank fireball that explodes on both of you and knocks you both out. And I was like...
Actually, no. It didn't knock Amnesty out because she is resistant to fire damage, which is why she ran up.
Oh, yeah, of course. I forgot about that.
And she made her save, so she only took like 7 damage.
Forgot about that. How did you get knocked out? Oh, I remember now. Do I remember? You got like attacked by more with swords?
Yeah. Yeah, I got attacked by more things.
Well, anyway, I knocked in a zoom around, gave him a massive burn.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
I quite like the cinematic moment there, in my brain at least.
It was a good moment, yeah.
And that's not even the biggest part of this moment. Carry on.
I was trying to get there quickly with some background, but there was some really good moments leading up to it. The other two players, after seeing that surrender, we get taken to a chamber. Amnesty and Imazuma get stabilized, and this woman's there basically going, you've been a pain in our sides, so you're going to witness what we've all been leading up to. Again, feel free to take over if you think I'm butchering this.
No, this is fine.
We're about to open this portal and let one of the 9 great evils in the universe through.
That's bad. I do need to interrupt. Everyone at that point had been told, although you already suspected it was a lie, that this portal was going to bring about one of the gods of the planet, Palador, who is the sun god, and he was going to take over as the leader of the pantheon, because that's what this cultist was in theory all about. And the occultists all believe it as well. The only person who didn't believe it who knew it wasn't him, was the woman. She was secretly actually the puppet of an evil god from far away.
Yeah.
And so there was this big reveal when the portal opened that it wasn't actually a good god, it was evil. But the reason why they were able to get away with this deception is because both Palador and this evil elder evil Ulban have an overlapping domain of sorts, because Palador is the sun god, therefore he's the radiant one, and Ulban is the radiant elder evil, and that's how they got away with it up to that point. Carry on.
So yeah, she opens this portal after giving us a speech, and this creature appears, basically destroys all of the cultists, including the faithful one, and is like, I'm about to take over! And these evils start running towards the portal. But before this can happen, Vala appears from her invisibility and punches a code into the Stargate to change the portal, and so the Elder Evil gets shut off. But then the portal reopens, and it is none other than Star Daddy.
Ta-da! Star Daddy. I love that that's already become a thing, and it's only the first time we've met him. It's the Emperor of the evil empire. Well, not evil. Well, maybe evil. Who knows? Maybe it's evil. It was definitely evil to Erosians because they had a war 400 years ago, and you guys didn't even know he was still alive. He's still alive.
Yep.
And he just appears. And then the last plot twist, which is my favourite part of the whole thing. Go on. Tell him my story.
I thought you were going to give him his real name rather than just keeping calling him Star Daddy.
Oh, Callus Starwane. What we do? That's not the important bit. That's not even his name. Callus Valkyrian is his real name. Starbane is because he killed the Star God 400 years ago, who's literally the most important god to the planet. But that's all irrelevant to the next plot twist, in my opinion. Tell my story, fine.
And then, he steps through and is shocked as he sees Vala, and through a teary response states that Vala is indeed his daughter. Blah, blah, blah. From over 400 years ago.
Yep.
She
was in stasis in space, or not even in space, you know. She was in stasis somewhere.
Yeah, we don't even know how she was discovered by the religious people and brought up.
Mm-hmm. Because they died in session 10 or whatever, earlier than that, and no one ever spoke to them really. But yeah, my big plot reveal of Big Star Daddy and what was going on in the Abbey and why Vala's got magic powers. Turns out she's a demigod empire heiress.
Yeah, that was the other thing, that she is not only the child of Starbane himself, but of Siaska, the god that he killed.
Yep, the star goddess I mentioned.
Yeah.
Bwah, bwah.
Bwah.
Oh, and then he teleported you to a different continent and you're fucked.
Yeah, and then he basically stole Vala, teleported us all to a different continent in the middle of nowhere, and teleported us away from Faith and Stray. So Amnesty has lost 3 people, and she was the only one to break out of her bindings originally. She broke out and tried to grab Vala, but that didn't go very well.
Well, he started. He's big and strong.
And yeah, just after they got thrown through the portal, she basically just screamed into the valley.
My favourite thing as well is that you spent the 2 weeks after that session like, I can't believe you made me lose 4 things close to me because I hadn't described yet that right at the beginning of the next session, he made another portal to send all their gear and Amnesty's Dragonet through.
Yeah,
So she was like, I don't have my Dragonet, I don't have Stray, I don't have Faith, I don't have Valor, you've taken everything.
It was
like,
such
nope.
an evil moment, because we mentioned something, I was like, Dragonet's there or something, and you're like, is it? And I was like, you can't say that my Dragonet didn't come with me. You can't take 4
Watch
things
me.
away. Oh,
Yeah, I held that over you for a week or so.
yeah.
But then literally straight away in the beginning of the session, you just hear a me as the Dragonet falls down the second portal.
I didn't get to describe it because you're in the middle of a lot, but I was hoping that Amnesty would catch it.
It was too far away.
Damn. Okay.
It was specifically far away so that no one could jump through the portal. Starbane ain't stupid.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was like 40 feet away and it was only open for like 3 seconds. So even if Inazuma had sprinted at this top speed, he would have got there just as it vanished.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the big thing. That was literally the session and the story and the plot twist that inspired me actually being a DM. Most of, not all of, but most of it, again, stolen from Mark. From High Rollers, the one that's just finished, that I don't ever stop going on about. So yeah, fun times. I loved it. I hope you loved it. And to wrap up favourite moments, a light-hearted one, just from a regular old session. I say regular old session, all sessions are fun. We were playing in Forest Campaign just over a week ago. And go on.
It's going to explain the favourite moment quote, like, from our social medias a few days ago.
Follow or you suck. Yeah, so we're on this island that the ship we were on has sort of had to not quite like crash into, but we had a fight. We lost control of the ship. We wanted this and miss, and now the ship's too damaged to not go anywhere but this island. But everyone's warned us that this island is deadly. So we're having a little nose just to scope out the area. We come across these rock pools, and initially, Leaky, who plays Gregor, rolled to investigate these rock pools and scored pretty high. And so the DM Forrest was like, okay, now I've got to explain stuff about these rock pools that's aligned with an 18 or whatever. So at least this is how I interpret what his brain process was. I imagine he was trying to buy time to think about what to say. And what came out of his mouth first was, you've been to rock pools before. And so we all just sort of like, sure, okay, Greg has been to rock pools before. This is great. We had a little giggle and then sort of forgot about it because it was just a little moment. And then about 20 minutes or so later, they'd found out through these investigations and through other series of events that these rock pools were home to various ingredients for like potions and spell components and stuff. And Gregor went to harvest some and rolled a nat 20 on the harvest, which no one expected because he's a barbarian. He's got massive clunking hands. You wouldn't expect him to be like delicate to pick anything up. And without even the moment of hesitation, Leaky was just like, I've been to rock pools before. And we all just lost it. It was so good.
It was a great moment.
A stupid, dumb moment, but it's so good. So good.
It was just the way he said it as well. It was just everything.
I would have tried to have done the Scottish accent, but it wouldn't have done it justice. Happy days.
It was good moment.
I have another one actually, but maybe we should save it for next episode.
Maybe, yeah.
Because it happened in your session. Yeah, we'll save it.
Okay.
So.
Oh no.
TikTok train.
TikTok train.
RP time.
Oh no.
Wee wee. Okay, go.
Okay, so.
Inner peace.
Erathor.
Hi.
You woke up in the woods with some basic clothes and a ring, and that was all you had. You lost your memories. Traveling down, you interacted with a few people, but then, with someone, and then came to a village. And while you have been in this village, your ring was stolen from you.
Bastards.
So
Whoever did it, bastard.
You headed to the sheriff's house, the building thing of this little village. And as you entered, you saw a figure at a desk wearing a brown poncho, like a large brown cowboy hat with peacock feathers tucked into the the strap around it. And then you saw that his face was made of metal plates, and then his arms as well from under the poncho, and came to the realization, I don't know whether you would know this, but just generally he is a warforged with green eyes. Oh no, wait, hang on. 2 glowing gold eyes, not green. And yeah, he looks up and he saw you enter and he goes, "Good afternoon."
Hi. I have a crime to report. Somebody stole my ring.
Was it an important ring?
Mm-hmm. Very important. Utmost important, you might say.
Well, go in, take a seat. The name's Swift. When, do you know when or how the ring was stolen?
Well, I just arrived in town yesterday. It was yesterday, wasn't it?
Yes.
I've stayed one night. And was helping out this fellow in the market to earn a bit of cash. And I definitely had it at the beginning. And I definitely had it even part way through, because he pointed out and said, "That's a bit flashy ring, right? You got there." And I thought, yeah, it is. I'm going to hide it. And so I put it in my pocket. And then I looked at my pocket at the end, or not even at the end. I can't remember how long it was. How long was it?
You'd actually spoken to him before the morning before, and that's when he mentioned the ring the day before. And then in the morning before you went there, you popped it in your pocket.
All of that happened.
Yeah.
And then partway through the shift, I went to look for it, and it wasn't there.
Huh. It seems I'm dealing with a pickpocket then.
Indeedy.
Most pickpockets you'll find tend to hang out around the Broken Waste. It's on the outskirts of town. If you're trying to resolve this yourself, the easiest way to go around it might be to go there alone and ask around.
That sounds like a really good way to get stabbed.
There I don't really tend to get many stabbings. But if you do not feel comfortable going alone, I can accompany you, but again, you are most likely to find more information on your own.
Duly noted. Well, maybe I'll try your tactics, see if they work, but if they don't, I'll be back.
Yes, and good luck.
Any other tips?
Don't make any sudden moves.
Any names I can invoke to instill fear in their hearts?
You could potentially say that Swift sent you, but...
Interesting. Well, thank you. I'll be on my way.
Yes.
Oh yeah, which way is it?
He'll give you some basic directions to where you need to go, and you make your way through the city. The sky is now sort of that red colour with the sunset. It's dark, and there's not as many people wandering around as there was during the day. And as you get to the outskirts, you see before you there's just a large area that's covered with like broken carts and equipment, items that are no longer been used. There's basically just a junkyard of old things in here. At the moment, you don't really see anyone around, but you can venture in.
I will say, before I get too close to the edge, I would... I think at this point, Erathor wouldn't care too much about his appearance like he does in canonical sessions.
Right.
So he's going to like rough up his clothes a bit and like tie his hair up so it doesn't look so luscious. And just try to look less fancy.
Okay.
And fit in a bit better.
Nice. As you're wandering through, make a perception check for me.
Perception. If I rewind my stats to before level 1, that would be a 16.
Okay. You wander around for a few minutes. You feel like it could be quite easy to get lost in here because some piles of materials and items, and there's just like carts that are still somewhat intact. It could be quite easy to get lost, but you feel like you know vaguely where you are. And at one point, you see something in the corner of your eye move, but you keep moving forward, and after a while, you hear a voice from behind you. Not a lot of people venture into this part of the city. You lost?
No, for you.
No. Do you turn around to see?
Yes.
You see a humanoid figure sort of laid back on top of one of these carts. One leg like sort of dangling off the side, the other knee up on top, and just like twiddling a dagger in their hands. They've got like messy hair, and they turn to you and you see that it's a human with blue eyes, and it looks like they're potentially like late teens, early 20s, human woman. Is there something I can help you with?
Do you often help people who say they're not lost?
Well, I just assumed if you're here, you're looking for something.
Why would you think that?
Well, if you don't need any help, I'll just let you be on your way then.
I didn't say that, I just asked another question. How do I know you don't need help from me?
You don't look like the sort I would usually get help from. But,
Judging a book by its cover now.
yeah, I'm usually pretty good at reading people.
I'm usually pretty good at throwing off people's readings.
You're an interesting one.
I try.
And she sits up and so has like both her legs off the side now. What's your name?
Erathor.
Lexi. Pleasure to meet you. She holds out a hand.
I'll reach for it.
Yeah.
Likewise, so far.
She gives it a shake, but then also kind of uses it to help her down. Jumps down, stand in front of you. So you just fancied a stroll, did you?
No, I need help.
And what do you need help with?
Well, somebody rather mistakenly accidentally borrowed permanently my ring, and I would like it back.
Ah. Yes. Purple stone.
Yes.
I may know something about who took that.
Well, I'd be surprised if you didn't, because you just described it to a T. Not that there is much to describe about it other than purple stone.
Yeah. Well, I could use a bit of help as well. And
I thought I was the kind of person who you didn't get help from.
Yeah. Like you said, try not to judge a book by its cover.
Fair enough. What can I do for you?
Let's go into the details a bit later. You help me with something, and I'll help you get your ring back. Deal? And she holds out her hand. Try not to overthink it.
I ain't murdering no one, but sure.
No murdering.
Gotta be careful in these days. Maybe. Sometimes. You never know.
Do you shake her hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh god, what magical contract have I just signed?
As you shake her hand, the view of the camera shifts and is cut across, and we skip forward now to see Erathor sneaking through a large corridor decorated with fancy furniture and paintings, and you're being led through by Lexi. She seems to know where she's going and has given you like a dark hooded cape and a black hawk mask that she is also wearing. She guides you through and then reaches a door and picks the lock with relative ease and opens it just an inch, turns to you and says, "Keep watch out here, let me know if anyone's coming, and I will be right back." And she looks into the room, looks back to you to get an acknowledgement.
I will nod and then also like subtly but not inaudibly like tap the floor 3 times as if to say that's the signal.
She gives you a nod and ventures into the room and closes the door. Do you do anything while you're out here?
I guess I'd take like a few seconds just to look around, get a sense of the space, but other than that I think I'll probably just be doing what she said.
Okay, roll me another perception check, please.
Ooh. This time it's a dirty 20.
Ooh, very nice. A few minutes in, you hear light footfalls and a bit of stumbling, I think is the best word to describe it. It seems to be down the corridor a bit and a turn or two away. Do you do anything?
Pretty sure I should be tapping right now. Tip, tip, tap. Tap, tap, tap.
You tap, tap, tap.
Tap, tap, tap.
Lexi opens the door and then just looks out a little bit towards you and heard something?
I'll nod and mime stumbling and point in the direction.
Okay. You both listen and sort of look down that direction, and a few moments pass, and you see a flickering light coming down that corridor, and seems to be approaching. But there is a few ways ways off this corridor, branches off this corridor from between there and here. Lexi kind of just ducks back into the room and goes to grab your arm to pull you in with her. Do you follow?
I was going to go in anyway.
Okay. You both go in. Close the door. And you see now you're in what almost looks like a trophy room. Glass display boxes that have certain what almost look like simple but well decorated items, and you see that Lexi seems to have taken the lids off of some of them and taken items put them into like a pouch. The several pouches she has like about her person, and you also see some of them seem to have been switched for like little weights, almost like rocks. And she while she's there, she like does the eye symbol like to her eyes, and you like to the door for you, and goes back to doing bits and pieces.
Is there a keyhole in the door?
There is.
Can I look through it?
Yeah, you look through it, and you see the light off in the distance for a second, but then it seems to get further away again, and after a while disappears.
We'll quietly say, looks like we're probably good for now.
She turns to you and goes, "Great, because I think I got pretty much what I needed. Let's get out of here."
Anything fun in here for me?
Hey. Was that a DM question or a thingy question?
That was directed at the character.
Okay. I picked up a few interesting items. I could share some with you.
Cool, let's go.
Cool. And she starts leading you back the way you came. What you both don't hear is another guard a guard, and sort of they turn the corner as you're trying to head down, and you see an elven guard, not like carrying any light or anything, but they're wearing like simple armor with a sword on their belt, and as they see you they go, "Hey, stop!" Lexi simply goes, "Shit," grabs something, and then throws what looks like a handful of sand in his face and goes, "This way," and starts running off back in the other direction. Do you follow?
I will, but I'll throw him up just before she throws the thing or reacts. I'll just be like, "What are you doing here?" Because I think that's Erathor's favourite trick. When he gets caught doing something, he just tries to flip it back on them. But yeah, then she does the stuff and he follows.
Nice. Yeah, she leads you through a few more corridors.
And just as we're running, I'll shout out, "Quick, he's disguised as a guard! Get him!"
Roll a persuasion check.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I got a nat 1.
Oh,
fuck's sake! That was persuasion.
You hear a voice off in the distance go,
It's still a 7 if that means anything.
You hear another voice off in the distance goes, "Hey, isn't that Jerry's corridor? That doesn't sound like Jerry. After them!"
Jerry's sick today! Because I realised I've been... Okay, I'll shut up now. Let's go.
As you're running through, you hear more shouting and yelling behind you as you're going. Lexi like opens up a door on one of the corridors and like shoves you in, shuts the door behind you, and like props a chair up against the handle. And she's all very quick. You can tell that she's done this before. Moves to like goes over to a window, jimmies it open, and then like takes a second, looks back at you with like a half smile and mischief in her eyes, and goes, "See you down there," and then jumps out the window. At this moment, you remember that you've been up a few flights of stairs and are around about on the second floor of this building.
Oh joy. I guess I'll rush to the window and look down.
You rush to the window and look down, and Lexi seems to like gently land on the floor, run a few steps forward, and then turn to look to see what you're doing.
I'm just gonna like... I think this is what Erathor would do. He just shout, "Is this your idea of a date or something?"
What? Not really, but I suppose I'll say the line, "Do you trust me?"
Not not as far as I could throw you, but I ain't got no choice. And I'll jump out.
Nice. And as you do, you see her like eyes glow for a second as she mutters an incantation, and your fall slows as you're going, and gently land on the floor.
Mind if I drop in?
Great line. And she sort of like punches you on the shoulder and runs off into the brush.
I don't know why I'm following this woman, and I'll follow her.
And that is where we'll leave it for today.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Good, I'm glad.
I feel like I needed to channel a few of Erathor's quirky moments more in these, because I haven't really done it yet.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And I think it's actually going to be an Erathor trope, that guard thing. If ever he just gets caught where he shouldn't be, he's just going to try and blame them as if they're the one who shouldn't be there. What are you doing here? I think I did it, didn't I? Didn't I do that with one of the guys on the ship with the captain? They were like, what are you doing here? And I was like, what are you doing here?
You did, I remember, yes.
That's going to be Erathor's thing. It just amuses me too much. But yeah, that was great. I love that. Lexi sounds fun.
Yeah.
Does Lexi have my ring? I bet Lexi has my ring.
Find out next time.
Yay. Well, I believe that wraps us up.
Yeah.
We did an episode. It only took us like 3 attempts at timing it.
Yeah. And guess what?
What?
Whole 10 minutes before D&D.
I know, right? Oh, you know what's really fun as well? While we're recording this, I'm just going to say it. We're actually going to see each other this weekend, which is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Which may mean more stuff on socials. Yay.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, by the time you're hearing this, we'll probably like be meeting up. I have met up, but I mean, we release on Thursday now instead of Friday.
Yes.
So,
well, it depends on what
Spotify.
Platform. If you're watching the premiere, then I'm probably enjoying Pine's chicken pesto something or other.
Yes, pesto chicken.
We've both talked about pesto before and we're obsessed with it, so yay.
Woohoo!
It's great fun. Sending positive vibes your way and wishing you many natural 20s.
Hell yeah.
Have a fun time. Bye.
Bye. That wishing natural 20s was, for me, right? For this session coming up.
What planet are you on? I don't know why that came into my head this time. What?
Seth.
I didn't say anything.
Okay, I'm back.
I didn't do it.
What did you do?
Nothing.
You do know I'm editing this episode, right?
I know, I left a little treat.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't do it.